guys, welcome back for episode number 75 of the weekly playback. I know I've been gone for 2 weeks and I haven't played too many games in the last 2 weeks, actually, too many multiplayer games that is. But one of the multiplayer games that I did play I'm super excited to talk about because now I finally can, as the embargo will be lifted, and that is 3 Ring Circus from Devir Games, which is why I'm wearing this very colorful top. I thought it kind of went with the circus theme. It looks a little bit clownish. So yeah, not that I bought it because I was trying to look like a clown. I wasn't. I just really like wearing colorful clothes. Colors make me happy. But anyway, so let's just get into it. Let's talk about 3 Ring Circus. So this game is designed by Remo Canzadori and Fabio Lopiano. The art is done by Ido Valls and it's published by Devir Games. This game is for 1 to 4 players. This is a point-to-point movement, area majority, hand management game with end game bonuses, and it is very good. I rated it a 10 out of 10 on BGG. But before I get into the explanation of the game, I do want to just have a disclaimer about how this represents a time in history when animals were used for entertainment, and we know better now. We know better than to use wild animals for any kind of entertainment or work, so no wild animals should be used in the circus or aquariums and so on. So when I play this game, I pretend that the animals are holographic animals, and I hope that everyone who plays this game will do the same and will encourage others who are playing the game to read up about the treatment of animals in circuses and other entertainment kinds of industries. And I hope that everyone will be an ethical consumer of entertainment and tourism and support sanctuaries and other organizations that help animals. So with that being said, we can now talk about the game. So this game, as I mentioned, is a point-to-point movement game and an area majority game. So this is the board. And on this board, you will see the map of America. And you can see that certain cities are big cities, and the big cities are the ones where you will see space for a card, and I will show you what that city card looks like. And then the medium-sized cities will have space for a certain token, and then there are smaller cities along the way, as you can see. Up here, you are going to have various cards for you to pick from when you're able to choose a card, and of course there's space for a discard pile as well. So this is the board, and a personal board looks like this. So on your personal board, you are going to have space where you are putting down all the performer cards, or as they call them, the artist cards, and you are going to be putting those here, and you are going to be putting your end game scoring cards here. You can only place an end game scoring card once you've completed one of the first 3 columns, and it will activate one of these, and then that allows you to place down a card. On this board, you will see train symbols. Those represent your movement points. So the train symbols that are visible will tell you how many points you can move when you take the movement action on the board. And then when you do cover certain spaces, you will be able to take the action when you're covering it. And then you're going to have a pedestal tracker here, and I'll talk about what the pedestals do when I get to that part of the game. So in this game, the 2 actions that you'll be able to perform, so you'll do one or the other on each turn that you do, is either to engage an artist, or perform a show. So there are different artist cards. Now the money cards are also artist cards, and you'll see that there's money in the corner, which tells you how much money you have, and you start the game with a certain number of money. And these are like lower level artist cards. So when you engage an artist, that means that you're going to be putting this card onto your board into one of those slots that I showed you and engaging in it. However, you do need to pay for it when you put it down. So when you put it down, you're going to pay from other money cards in your hand the amount that it costs to put it down. So this one costs $5 to put it down. So if I had a 3 and a 2, I would put those in the discard and play this onto my board. Certain symbols, such as this lightning bolt symbol, cannot be activated when you play the card just as performing an artist. Those are activated during performing a show later on, and I'll explain what that means. Other cards, however, will give you a scoring bonus, or a pedestal bonus in this case. So in this case, if you play this card onto your board, you will get 1 pedestal plus an additional pedestal for each card of that symbol to the right of this. So different cards will give you different kinds of bonuses. Let's see what else we have here that I can show you an example of. A lot of them are pedestals that I can see. This one, again, it shows a lightning bolt symbol, so that will give you 3 extra movements, but that lightning bolt symbol can only be activated when you're performing a show. And it looks like the rest of them are just mostly pedestals, or in this case, again, it's a lightning bolt one, and this will give you points when you are performing a show. And then there's higher level cards. So these will give you points. So for example, this one will give you 2 points for every card of the purple symbol to its left. So yeah, so you know, there's different kinds of artist cards. So again, you need to pay for them. And when you're paying for these higher level cards to be placed, you can still only pay with money. So that becomes a bit trickier and trickier as the game progresses, and I'll get into why. Because these money cards you're able to pick up when you perform smaller shows. When you perform larger shows, that is not the case. So I'll get into all of that in a minute. So when you're engaging an artist, again, you're placing down an artist card, whether that's a lower level one like a money card or a higher level one, but you're still paying the cost in money cards only, not in these kinds of cards, before you can put it down. And then you will put that card down and then gain what you, if you gain anything, you'll be able to get it, like pedestals and so on. And so you'll move up in the pedestal chart. Moving up in the pedestal chart is important because when you perform a show, you want more pedestals. So as I mentioned, the medium cities will have this on it, like, so various tokens of this kind on it. So as you can see, oh, is that upside down? Yes, that is upside down. So as you can see, there are pedestals here and different symbols. So different cards have different symbols to indicate like their suit, I guess you could say. So for example, this one shows cowboys and it looks like magicians. So you'll see here, let me show you an example. So here is an example of a magician card. So you'll see in the symbol here, it's a magician. There's, let's see what else we have. Here is an animal card. So llamas, it looks like. So you'll see the animal symbol in the corner. So different cards have different symbols. And so when you are performing a show at a medium city, you will get 2 pedestals for each symbol of that kind, which will help you. So you will gain extra pedestals because of that. Why are the pedestals important? Because you will be gaining points and or cards. So when you perform at a medium city, you will see this thing here. And each of those medium cities has a city to the top and a city to the bottom. You're going to be placing a token on which one you can score at, and only one person can score at each level. So for example, if I were to go to a city and I had, let's say, 2 different magicians in my circus, that would give me 4 additional pedestals in addition to the ones I already have. So let's suppose I had 5 pedestals and I gained an extra 4, that would bring me up to 9 pedestals. So I could score either 7 points or take 3 ticket cards. The ticket cards are the higher level artist cards, which look like this, and again have the different colored symbols on them, and those are really what are going to help you score a lot of points as well. So performing at medium cities does that. When you perform at a smaller city can only host 1 performance. So if someone has placed a tent on a smaller city, no one else can perform at that city. Basically, performing at a smaller city is just a good way to get these money cards. So you will get a card for the show that you're performing at, and then if there are empty cities adjacent to you, you will get an additional $1 for each city that is adjacent to you that is empty. So that is a good way for you to get the money cards, which you will need throughout the game in order to play the higher level artists and all the artists, because you have to pay before you can place them down. So that is what performing at a small city means. But the performance action, let's talk about exactly how it goes. So when you decide to perform instead of engaging an artist on your board, the first thing you can do is move. And again, you will count up all the train symbols on your board, which will tell you how much movement you have available. So if you covered this symbol with a card previously, then that symbol is no longer available to you. So you will count up your train symbols, and that will tell you how much movement you have. But again, there are some cards that you can play right away if you had it in your hand that will give you immediate additional movement. So I had shown you that card earlier. So this card has a lightning bolt symbol. So those are when, that's when these cards can be played, is when you are performing a show. So that will give you extra movement points. So you're going to move to a city where there is no other caravan at the moment. And if there is a caravan somewhere, you can skip it and it does not count as a part of your movement. So when you perform in a city, you know, you can perform in a small city, again, can only host one show per game. And then medium cities, you want to have as many pedestals as possible, as I mentioned. And then the large cities, so large cities again are the ones where the cards are. Now, in order to perform at a large city, those large cities are going to have cards like this on it. So this is an example of a card. And in order to perform it, you need to have a yellow, sorry, this is orange, an orange number 11 card in your circus in order to perform there. So you will look at all of these cards again. So you'll see that they have different colors and numbers in the corner. So you will have needed the 11 orange, wherever that is, in your circus, here it is, in order to perform in that large city. So first you need the appropriate card. So in this case, the lion, and then you will gain additional points if you have cards to its right and left of those colors. So to the left of it, it would have to be a lower value, and to the right of it, it would have to be a higher value. Because one important thing that I forgot to mention was when you place cards into your circus, they have to go in ascending order. However, the good thing is, let's suppose you had placed a card that had a number 1 in here, and then later you placed a card that had a number 5. Does that mean you can't place a 3 later on? No, you can still place a 3. You would just simply move the 5 over and squeeze in the 3. So you don't get penalized that way, which is really great. But you do have to play cards in ascending order. And the reason that you do that, and you always have to place it in the leftmost slot, is so that you can't immediately just run over here and start placing cards in the further right column, because those give you a lot of points. So like if you put a card here, that would give you 7 points, here 3 points, and here 2 points. And it gets harder and harder to place cards as the game progresses, because again, you need to play in this, you need to perform in the small cities in order to get money cards which you need to use in order to put down these artists. So you still need to perform in smaller cities. Why does it get harder and harder though? Because when you perform at a show, the Barnum train or caravan moves. So the Barnum caravan starts in the city of Boston. So in a 4-player game, it's going to start in Boston, and then every time someone performs a show, it's going to move along the outer perimeter of the map on the route shown. And when it reaches back to Boston again, the game will end, basically. So you are going to have a caravan that moves along the map every time someone performs a show. So, and that means even small shows too. So yeah, so you're going to, when you perform a show, you're going to do your own movement, you're going to perform, and then after you perform, you will move the Barnum Circus caravan. So he will skip over cities, I believe, that have a train token on them. Let's see. Yeah, and then also there is a Barnum tile. So the Barnum tile is an interesting thing, and the way it works in the game. So it's, I don't know where the tile is right now. Let me find it. So the starting player of the game starts the game with this Barnum tile. I don't know. Did it not get put into the box? Did we forget it? Oh, I hope I didn't lose the Barnum tile. I cannot find it. That's not good. Where is the Barnum tile? Well, that makes me sad if I lost the tile, because that's an important component in this game, and I just cannot find it right now. Okay, so there is a Barnum tile, and the Barnum tile is something that the starting player of the game has, and they flip it over when the Barnum Circus caravan reaches a big city. So when it reaches a big city, you are going to do a scoring event. So yeah, so when the Barnum Circus reaches a big city, you perform a scoring, and that's where the area majority comes in, which is really interesting. So you are going to look at this board and look at how many tenths of each player's, there are in each of the sections. So if it reaches Chicago, for example, you are going to look at the Chicago region, the yellow region, and you are going to count up all of the tenths that people placed and see who has the most, and the person with the most is going to score 10 points. The second person with the second most is going to score 6 points, and the person with the third most will score 3 points. So that's where the area majority part comes in. So you kind of also want to pay attention to how the Barnum caravan is moving and be mindful of which places it's going to hit first, and realize that that is going to trigger a scoring event, because every time someone performs a show, the caravan is going to move. And then when the scoring event happens, you are basically looking at area majority at that point in time and seeing who scores points then. So it's a really interesting game with a lot going on. So you're kind of trying to be mindful of the caravan moving. It's kind of like a race against that. And everyone, when they play, oh, here's the Barnum tile. I found it. Phew. So here is the tile. So, every time someone performs a show, the caravan is moving, and you feel more and more like, constrained, time is like getting shorter and shorter, and you are trying to get the cards you need. And it's really difficult, I'd say, in this game to perform multiple big city shows. The reason is because you have to have very specific cards, again, in order to perform the big city shows. Like, for example, this one requires the 9 purple card. So you have to have the exact card with that number on it, and then hopefully have cards to the sides of it that are lower and higher with the other colors in order to score points. And then the first person to perform in a big circus will get the number of points indicated here. And then if they have those 2 cards to the side, the number of points there, and then even the points here. So the first person to perform in a big city, if they have all 3 of those cards, you will score mega points. So that's really good. If you don't have all 3 of those cards, then, you'll still score some good points, but not as good as if you had all 3 cards. Super fun game. Absolutely loved it. But let me just explain the Barnum Circus tile thing a bit. So when this reaches a big city, it flips over, and then it's gonna go, while the Barnum Circus is going to the left, this is being moved to the right. So you are passing this counterclockwise. No, so left is this way. So left is counterclockwise. This is also counterclockwise. No, left, right, left, right. Okay, I'm getting confused. But this thing, it basically gives the person who has it an extra chance, if I remember correctly. So if the scoring gets triggered, I can't explain it right now. It's a bit confusing, but it's an interesting mechanic, the way that this thing works. I just remember it was interesting, and we were sitting there trying to figure out why it moves in one direction and the circus train moves in another direction, and it made sense in the end. So just know that it makes sense, and it's a good mechanic and really clever the way they put that in there. But it is just something extra to be mindful of when you're playing, like flipping this over when a scoring event is triggered, and then making sure that everyone has had their turn. So this helps you to know if you should score right away, or if you need to go back through all the players again before you actually do the scoring at a big city. So I think I've covered everything. So again, as you're placing cards in your circus, that's when you're triggering like some different actions here as well, and you're covering up some train icons. And when you fill in a column, your first column, that's when you can put in one of your end game scoring cards. When you fill in your second column, you can put in your second one. And if you fill in a third one, then you can put in your third one. When you cover this tile that allows you to grab another end game scoring card, you start the game with one in hand. If you manage to cover this one, you would grab your third end game scoring card, which you would then immediately place, because now you have filled, well, not immediately, because like you might have filled this first before filling these. So then you would place it once you fill in this third column. So the end game scoring cards, let me just show you an example. So like this one, you know, you would want orange cards of different kinds in order to score those points. And then depending on how many you have, you'll score different points. Some of them are city cards that, you know, if you perform there, I think that's what it means. If you perform there, then you would get the points or something like that. I cannot remember what that one means actually. I had one of the city cards and it actually says, yeah, so oh, it's for each region. So you would get the points for having placed your circus tokens in that region. So yes, I remember that that was a great way to score points, because I got really lucky with one of the end game scoring cards I picked, because it was in a region in which I had placed most of my circus tents. So that was a great way to score a lot of points. So for example, if you have this one, then you are going to look at the Northeast region in which New York is in. And if you manage to have placed 4 circus tents there, then you'll get 10 points at the end of the game. So yeah, and you're also going to, of course, be scoring points for your different artists that you had placed. So as you can see, the higher level artists, they have point values on them, the popcorn. So you'll get points for those. I do not believe, yeah, the money ones don't have points on them. Those, again, help you to get pedestals, which you need in order to perform at the medium cities to get more points and more cards. So yeah. And, you know, again, some of these higher level cards allow you to score points as well. So in addition to having a point value in the corner, it shows you how many points you can earn in that, you know, in your circus if you have that number of tags of that color. So yeah, super fantastic game. I liked it a lot. I liked all the different mechanics and how well they mesh together. So, you know, it's hand management, it's area control, it's point-to-point movement, and you just kind of towards the end of the game are like on the edge of your seat. Once you learn the game, it really gets going. In the beginning, it might be a little bit, you know, difficult and you're, you know, just trying to understand it. But once everyone understands it and it really clicks, it makes so much sense and it moves along really quickly then. And again, the board is going to start filling up and the caravan is just going to be moving and moving, and you are going to feel, you know, constrained for time and you wish you would have had more time. I would be curious to know, you know, who has been able to perform more than 2 large city shows in this game. I think if you're lucky, you'll get to perform 2. If you're really great at this game, maybe 3. And the reason is because you need to have the right cards again, and to score the higher points, you want the cards to the sides as well. But of course, you need to get to those cities as well. And in order to put down cards on your board, you need to have those money cards. And again, to get those money cards, you need to perform at smaller cities. But even performing at a smaller city moves the caravan along. And just remember that again, at smaller cities, you can only have one circus tent. So the smaller cities, like for example, like here, like that is a smaller town. So at the smaller towns, you can only have 1 circus tent. Medium and large, of course, you can have multiple. So yeah, so that is 3-Ring Circus. Highly recommend this game. I absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved the artwork. I love the vintagey vibes to this game. It's a lot of fun and I'm seriously looking forward to playing this again. So thank you to Devir Games for sending me a copy of this game, and I just really absolutely loved it. I feel like Devir just always knocks it out of the park with their games, and this is another winner of theirs. So definitely check out 3-Ring Circus. Let's talk about Ghosts of Christmas. This is a trick-taking game from 2019 for 3 to 4 players, designed by Taiki Shinzawa, and the art for this edition is done by Maria Surtican, and it's published by Board Game Tables. So again, this is a trick-taking game. I think I hear the lawnmower next door. So in this game, in the basic game, which is what I played since it was my first time playing, each player is going to have this in front of them. So it's a tile that says past on it, then present, and then future. And in each round, you are going to end up playing a card next to each of these time periods. The first player who goes and places a card is going to set the suit for that time period. So each time period has a dial, and depending on which suit is placed next to the card, that time period, for the first player who does that, that will set the suit. And then everyone else has to, of course, try to follow suit and get the highest number or play the trump suit. So the trump suit in this game is the heart. The other suits are the music note, which is green. There is a candle, which is yellow. And then I don't know what this is, but it's blue. It looks like it looks like a music note from far away, but up close, you can tell that they're not music notes. Maybe like some kind of basket or something. I don't know what that is. So cards are numbered 1 through 12 for each suit, which is of course appropriate because Ghosts of Christmas and the 12 Days of Christmas. So in the basic game, you are going to be dealt, I believe, is it 12 cards in your hand, and you are going to play, 3 cards in a round. I guess you would call that a round. So it says game flow. So 1 round is 3 tricks. Yes. Oh, and there's 4 rounds. So yes. So there are 12 cards that you will be dealt. So in the basic game, again, you're only playing with past, present, and future. And then once someone places a card next to one of those time periods for the first time, that sets the suit for that time period. Then at the end of the round, you are going to see who wins each suit. And then if you win a suit, you will get a wreath token. And then by the end of the game, you are going to count up how many points you have. So if you have, again, this is with the basic version, in a 4-player game, if you have 0 wreaths, meaning you won 0 tricks, you will end the game with 6 victory points. If you have 1 to 5 wreaths, you will score 1 victory point per wreath. If you have 6 or more wreaths, meaning you won too many tricks, you will get 0 victory points. So that is how that is played. So that is essentially 1 game of Ghosts of Christmas. So yeah. So it's a pretty quick game. It's pretty easy to understand. It says for the Beyond variant, there's another variant of this game. You add a 4th era to the game. So each person does get the Beyond one, and you will play 4 tricks per round and 3 rounds per hand. So yeah. And the other variant of the game, the more advanced variant of the game, where you can actually bet, like make bids on how many tricks you think you're going to win. You will take the number of doors equal to the number of tricks you believe you will win. And then I'm not sure what happens after that, since I did not play that variant. So again, I played the basic one. And it says something about a red door as well. So I don't know. I'm wondering, I think you have to place your wreaths on the doors, and then I think that has to do with scoring. So maybe if you did not place a wreath on a door, then I think you might lose points. So it says for scoring hands, after 4 rounds, you compare your bid with how many tricks you want. If you have extra wreaths not on doors or have purple doors without wreaths, then score no points. Otherwise, if you have a red door, score 1 point per wreath. If you don't have a red door, score 2 points per wreath. So I guess red doors allow you to be safer in your bidding. So I'm not sure how you actually pick a red door as opposed to a purple door. So are they all purple and red on each side? Let's see. I don't know. Oh no, it looks like there's only a limited number of red doors. It looks like there's only 4 red doors. Is that right? I wonder. Yeah, there's 4 red door tokens and 16 purple door tokens. So it says you will, you're going to look at your cards when you get your hand, and then estimate how many tricks you might win, and then take a purple door for each. Your bid will be successful if you win exactly that many tricks. If you would like additional flexibility, one of the doors you take may be red. Your bid will be successful if you win a trick for each purple door or for each purple door and the red door. Interesting. Okay, so yeah, it allows a bit more flexibility, I guess. Interesting. So maybe next time we will play with that variant, but again, it was our first time playing, so we just played the Tiny Tim variant, which is the basic variant, but I really liked it. This game was sent to me by a viewer of my video, so thank you, Arthur, again for this game. I'm glad I finally got to play it, and now I hope I'll get to play the other game that you sent to me as well, which is also a trick-taking game. So I agree with what everyone was saying about this. It is a really good trick-taking game. Even the basic variant, I really enjoyed it. So yeah, I really liked it, and it's a nice theme, and I absolutely love the colors and the artwork. Like, let me just show you the different player colors. So there's like purple, there's this like pink, and this like pretty aqua color, and orange. So I really like the unique player colors as well. And here is the scoring board. It's just so pretty, and again, the artwork is really pretty. At first I thought that the artwork was done by Weberson Santiago, so that's why I got super excited and went ahead and sleeved all the cards, but I'm going to keep them sleeved anyway. I really like the artwork on this in this game. So yeah, and all the different dials have nice pretty artwork to represent the different time periods as well. So yeah, really nice game, and these are the deluxe components, of course. So yeah, and the wooden wreath. So yes, I'm really glad I got to play this, and I hope I'll get to play it again. So yeah, so that is Ghosts of Christmas. So the next two games I'm going to talk about briefly, because without the AC running, I am melting. It is really hot, and these bright lights are shining on me, and it's just really, really hard. So yeah, so I have pre-ordered a copy of Beacon Patrol. So I played this solo recently. So let me just pull up the information for Beacon Patrol. So this is a 2022 game designed by Torben Ratzlaff, and and the art is done by Torben Ratzlaff as well, and this edition is published by Pandasaurus Games. So again, I pre-ordered this, so I received it a few days ago, I guess, and I played a solo version of this game. So it's a cooperative game if you do play multiplayer. So I really just liked the very nautical theme of this game. So it comes with these movement tokens, which I'll explain in a minute what those do. Each person will have a ship token, and they come in these different colors, so like a gray, a black, blue, and red. And then there are a bunch of different tiles. So for example, this, like, is that the starting tile? No, that's not the starting tile. Here is the starting tile. And then you'll see different tiles with like land and sea on them. And then the expansion comes with like windmills and piers and stuff as well. So basically you are just going to have some tiles in your hand at each time, and you'll be placing tiles down and moving your boat through the water. Whenever you place a tile, you have to place it in such a way that your boat can move. However, you can spend movement tokens to then move your boat elsewhere before, you know, you take your next turn if you need to, because sometimes it gets harder and harder to place tiles down. So yeah, so basically your actions are to place a tile next to the tile your ship currently occupies, and your ship must immediately travel to it. So it has to have water from the current tile you're on and the tile you're placing for your ship to move to that tile. But you know, it gets tricky because you can't like place, like, for example, this tile next to this one. Like, land has to go next to land, right? So you would have to place land next to land. So if you are placing this tile when you're on this one, you can't immediately move from this tile to this one. So you actually would not be able to place that tile there. So it's actually pretty tricky in how you place tiles. And then once you move your ship, you will then swap. You can also swap a tile with another player. So it says once per turn, give your tile and give them your tile and place yours in front of you to use during the same turn. So in the solo mode, I can't, this is for the multiplayer mode. In the solo mode, I think I can place up to, if I remember correctly, like 3 tiles at a time, and then you can, or maybe not at a time, I don't remember. Let's see, I think it says here somewhere. It said it somewhere. I don't remember, but like there's, yes. So in a solo mode, you'll have 3 tiles in hand and you'll have 4 movement tokens. And placing tiles, let's see. Yeah, you may place up to 3 tiles if playing with 1 to 3 players, and up to 2 tiles if playing with 4 players. And then you do not draw more tiles until your turn is complete. So that was correct. So I would place up to 3 tiles if I was able to. And then I could hang on to a tile. So in the solo mode, you can choose to keep 1 tile or discard it before drawing new tiles. So yeah, because you're not being able to swap with other players in a solo game. So you can keep 1 unplayed tile and do not have to discard it. So in this case, you would draw just 2 new tiles. So once the game is over, when there's no more tiles to draw and place, then you calculate your final score. So you're going to count explored tiles. Explored tiles are tiles that are completely surrounded on all 4 sides. So explore tiles with a lighthouse will get you 3 points. Explore tiles with a beacon buoy, I don't know how that word is pronounced, will get you 2 points. And all other explore tiles will get you 1 point. So it's a really hard game. I liked it, but I really suck at it. So I think I need to play it again. I only played it solo once, but I thought it was pretty challenging. I think maybe it might be easier with a multiplayer game. I really don't know, but I just think, you know, maybe you can pass if you're done, and if you just think that there's nothing you can place and you can't move your ship and you know have run out of movement tokens for that turn, then at least there's other players who can maybe hopefully put something down if you weren't able to. So yeah, so that is Beacon Patrol. This other game I played solo quite a number of times. I think I've talked about it before, and that is Next Station London. So Next Station London is a 2022 game. I think this was also nominated for the Spiel des Jahres Award, if I remember correctly. So it's designed by Matthew Dunstan, and the art is done by Maxime Morin, and it's published by Blue Orange Games. So I played this solo a number of times. So in this game, you are going to have a map. So I laminated a couple of maps, but you can see on this map there are like these light dotted lines going from station to station, and that is what you can draw your lines over. So you are going to, in the basic mode, I haven't played with these additional cards yet, to be honest. You're going to shuffle all of these cards, and in a solo game, you know, you'll have 4 different colored pencils or markers if you're playing with the laminated sheets that, you know, I laminated. So in the solo mode, you're just going to randomly place these down, and the first pencil that is there is the first one that you'll color with. In a multiplayer game, you're rotating pencils. So you are going to shuffle these cards and then flip one, and then you are going to draw from your starting station, depending on which color you are starting with, because that's the color that you have, you know, and then you're going to draw lines to the symbol that comes up. When 5 pink cards have been drawn, that's when that round will end and you'll score points. So you want to try to cross the River Thames a couple of times, because crossing the river will get you additional points for, oh crap, I think I scored incorrectly. It should be 2 additional points for each time you cross the river. I think I was giving myself 1 additional point for each time I crossed. So my scores should have been higher. Let me see on the paper ones. Yeah, I should have scored higher than I did. Damn it. Now I don't remember with the marker ones what I should have scored. But yeah, it's 2 additional points when you cross the river. So basically, and you'll see like these yellow quadrants. So those are areas of the board. So once a round is over, when 5 different pink cards have appeared and you end the round, you're going to count up the number of quadrants that you have station lines in. And by the way, you can't go back the same way you came, and you can't cross lines. So that's something to keep in mind. And there are like other rules like that as well. And then you're going to multiply the number of quadrants you have times the number of stations. So you have to count up the highest number of stations in that quadrant that you have, and you're going to multiply those 2 numbers and then add how many times you cross the River Thames, and that will be your score for that colored pencil for that colored station. So you're going to do that 4 times, and then if you ever connected to one of these tourist spots, you would have filled in the circle. So then you'll look at the next remaining circle, which you did not fill in, and you'll get points for that. So the more tourist circles you're able to fill in, the higher number of points you can get from that. And then if you have multiple lines coming from a single station, you'll earn additional points. If you have 2 lines coming from a single station, for each of those stations that have 2 lines connected to it, like 2 different colors, you'll get 2 points. If you have a station with 3 different lines connected to it, you'll get 5 points. If you have a station with 4 different lines connected to it, you'll get 9 points for each of those stations. And then you'll add up your total, and that will be your score. So yeah, it's a really good game. It can be quite difficult as you start getting to your 3rd and 4th station in the game, because you start getting more and more constricted for where you can draw lines. If at any point a card comes up and you cannot draw a line, you can just simply skip it. You don't have to draw a line then. But yeah, so you'll see these different cards come up with different symbols that you need to connect to. This one is wild, so you can connect to any symbol. And this card allows you to place your next line from any station on your line connecting to that symbol. So when you reveal this one, you'll reveal the next card, and you can draw a line from any station on the line that you're already drawing, because typically you can only draw from one end or the other. You can't just all of a sudden start like drawing from the middle of your line unless this card comes up, and you're allowed to do that once. So yeah, so that is Next Station London. It's a really great game to play solo. Highly recommend it for solo play. But now I'm upset because I did score incorrectly. I forgot that it was 2 points, and it was right there on the score sheet too. Oh dear, so I'll just have to play again. But I did score pretty well in one of the games I played, but now I know that I probably should have scored more points. Damn it. But yeah, so Next Station London is a really great game, and I highly recommend it if you like small solo games. So moving on. I'm going to try to be quick. I have a lot of games to show, but I'm not going to show all of them because I am just melting in these lights without air conditioning on. The window unit is just too loud to have on. So I'm just not going to show the inside of this box. Actually, the next segment is games I'm backing. So let me just do that quickly first. So games I'm backing, I'm currently only backing Itaria at the pledge manager level, so I can get my pledge copy of that. That's a game I had covered for its Kickstarter. I'm still backing Nestlings at the $1 PM level, and I'm backing so make over your game room from board game tables, which I guess is not called board game tables now anymore either. I think they're called like All Play or something now. Yes, All Play. So I'm backing them for the shelving units, but I might just cancel it because it's expensive, and I don't know if it's just cheaper to buy like a shelving unit from like IKEA or something like that, because I definitely do need more shelving units. But they have like these really cool shelves in which you can make like cool designs and like use negative space as well based on how you construct your shelves if you buy shelves from them. But the starting pledge is like $399, and I don't know how many cubes that actually includes. Like it just says includes small shelving, and it doesn't say how many. So that's a bit annoying. So if anyone is watching this and knows how many shelves that actually includes, that would be really great. And then they said in the pledge manager, like when you start customizing what you want, they'll either refund you your money or you'll have to pay more. But it would be great to know what $399 actually includes. Like how many small shelving units does that actually include? I don't know. So I don't know if I'm going to keep that. Let me know if you're backing it or if you know how many it actually includes. Like I just think it's kind of crazy that it doesn't mention that. Anyway, so that's all I'm backing right now. So as far as games I've received or bought, so let me show you this first. This is a review copy I received. Unfortunately, it's so beautiful, but unfortunately I won't get to keep it. I already know who I have to ship this on to after I've played it. I haven't played it yet. I just received it recently. I'm not going to open it because I have a lot of games to get through, and this you'll see eventually when I talk about it later, but after I've played it. But it's a game about making cheese from the same publisher as Canvas. Which I absolutely love. If you haven't played Canvas yet, highly recommend it. So I feel fortunate enough that I get to cover a game of theirs. So that's really exciting. A game that I received a review copy of, so this is a review copy, I did not pay for it, is Race to the Raft. So I am super excited to play this. It looks like it is a cooperative game in which you are path building and putting down tiles and trying to get your cats to safety. So yeah, so this looks really good. I did, while this is a review copy, I had access to the Pledge Manager. So if I remember correctly, I was given the basic version and then I upgraded it. So I paid the difference myself to get the miniatures and stuff, if I remember correctly. So yeah, so I paid for these cat miniatures, if I remember correctly. I don't know if I am remembering correctly, but I think that's what I did. So, and then it comes with these tokens. And then just a bunch of different cards and stuff like that, and cat meeples, and then there's like boards and stuff with like, you know, the grids and stuff, and then it has this bag of tiles, of course, like the fire tiles. So yeah, so this is looks really good, and I'm really looking forward to playing this. So yeah, so luckily it has a solo mode too, because I don't know if I'll get around to playing it multiplayer anytime soon. A game that well, let me just talk about another review copy I received. So in one video I had shown a bunch of Funko games and mentioned that they did not send me Indiana Jones because they had been out of it, but they actually did send it to me. So I guess it came back in stock and they sent this to me, and I'm really glad because I played this when I was in London at the Funko offices and it was so much fun. So this is like a kind of like a deck building game, and it's got this really cool timer contraption, and when it fills with sand, like you're gonna be putting like rubies in here, and then when it flips over, then the timer starts running and you have to like race against the clock. It is really cool, this contraption thing. I'm not going to show everything because I'm melting, but here are some cards and stuff with like different characters and different colors. Yeah, so I'm not going to talk about how it plays right now. I'll talk about that when I actually get to play it again, because again, it is very hot right now. So I'm just going to put this away. Two games that I purchased recently are Caesar's Empire. So I bought this with the Amazon Prime Day that was happening because, as we all know, Holy Grail Games has gone out of business. So this game is technically, I think, out of print now. So one of the reviews I read for this game said that it's better than Ticket to Ride, so it like replaces Ticket to Ride for them. So I was like, that's pretty cool. Apparently it's based on some kind of a comic series or something, which I've never heard of, called Asterix, but whatever. Apparently it's a really good game, so I'm glad I was able to pick that up during Prime Day. And another game I purchased recently, which is a re-implementation of Ethnos. So all I remember about Ethnos is that I played it many years ago and I miraculously won, because typically I do not win games, especially if it's like my first time playing them. So when that happens, it's, you know, just a very special event. So I picked this up because it's a new edition or re-implementation of Ethnos, which I remember enjoying, but now I do not remember much else about. And you know, oh, everything is a mess here. So do not like this. This is just flimsy card stock. Like, I would have preferred that to be a board. And then it just comes with a bunch of different cards, which in this copy right now are just such a mess. So I guess this is a game you do not want to put down sideways, I suppose. But yeah, it comes with different cards of different types, but I'm not gonna show them all to you because right now it's just really messy. So yeah, and it looks like there's like different kinds of suits and stuff, but again, I really don't remember how to play. And then there's a box with some more components, and then there's like these kinds of boards and stuff like that. The boards are double-sided, and they have like different like locations on each side, which is pretty cool. It's gotten really good reviews, so I hope I will get to play this at some point. So yeah, so there's a number of these boards. The box is really just a mess right now, and it comes with this box in which I stuck like some different components. So yeah, I like put all the individual player components into one bag, which are like the different player components are like different types of transportation modes. Like these look like hot air balloons. These look like submarines or something like that. Yeah, so there's different kinds of transportation modes, it looks like. So that is a game I purchased recently. And a game that I forgot to show, which I've been forgetting to show for many weeks now, is a game that I had backed on Kickstarter, which I received, which is Mind Your Business. I only got one copy. If you get one copy, it's only for 1 to 2 players. If you get 2 copies, then you can play it up to 4 players, but I did not do that. So I backed Mind Your Business on Kickstarter, and that arrived, and I just never ever showed that. So those are all the games I have to show right now. I actually did receive my remaining haul from UKGE, but since I am melting, I am not going to show that right now. So let me just move on to the question of the week since I'm melting. So my question of the week, I don't remember how I thought about this because I was like thinking about board games, and then I was thinking about which kinds of games are based on different IPs. So I thought about, what about the reverse? So which board game would you want turned into a TV show or a movie? So it cannot have an existing TV show or movie right now. So you can't like pick Firefly the board game or Lord of the Rings like Middle Earth or something like that. No, it has to be a board game that has no IP associated with it. So which board game would you want to see turned into a TV show or a movie? I know my answer, so I think I have many answers, like a lot. So of course Obsession, because you know Obsession actually isn't based on a TV show or a movie. It's kind of based on like a genre or like a historical period, but it's not actually based on a specific TV show or movie, and I am obsessed with those kinds of period dramas. So of course Obsession, but another one that would be super cool is City of the Great Machine, which is like this kind of game that's one versus many with a steampunk vibe, like set in like Victorian England, I think, or London. Well, at least it looks like that. So that would be super cool, I think, to see turned into a TV show or a movie. I'm sure that there are many others I would love to see brought to life, but those are the only 2 I will mention for right now. So tell me which board game you would like to see turned into a TV show or a movie. Sorry if this video was crap. I am just melting, so I am just ready to go. So thank you for watching, and until next week, bye.